Hi, Billy the Artist here, and today we are going to draw Emmet from the Lego movie because everything is awesome and the DVD is going to be out soon and people really love the film at the pictures. So we'll just get straight in. I'm going to draw Emmet down this side and then I'm going to draw his face so he can do expressions a little bit later. But again, this is all about using boxes, and Lego bricks are fantastic because they're all box and brick shapes and tubes and all those kind of things. So part one, how to draw everything using shapes, is just perfect for Emmet and the Lego movie. So we'll just start and we'll just start blocking in. So I'll draw a line down here because I'm going to have Emmet on this side and then we'll just do some expressions and faces later. So here we go, and we need to just put in some boxes for shapes. This is just a picture of Emmet just running, so if you just put a very quick box in, this is quite light and you do it lightly. Where his hips are, there's going to be a tube. I'm just using the 2B pencil here as well. And then his leg is just going to be a box coming down. Again, this is very, very quick, and you can see how using boxes and shapes allows you very, very quickly to build up an image. And Emmet and co from the Lego movie, and we'll do some of the other characters, are just spot on. So his arm is a tube here going back, and if you do the shapes you can actually make it fit within the area without it going over your lines. And so his hand will be another little tube and then another circle for what will be the claw. I'll put some darker lines on it in a moment so you can see, but this is just to get the positioning. And obviously his body part is a little bit, that's going to be where his belt is angled, and we can get rid of the other bits in a little while. Draw a line down the centre of the box. Again, this is all very, very faint. Just zoom in a little so that you can see how and where this is. Like I say, very faint. Draw a centre line because that's going to be the V for where his fluorescent safety jacket will be, where showing his shirt, his blue collar shirt, because he's a good working guy. We'll put all the details on in a moment of his fluorescent stripes that be on the front. Obviously he's then got his other arm with his elbow joint, it's going to be another tube as he's running, and his cuff and his wrist, and then his hand will be there. Now, as a kid, many years ago, in the 1970s, I just had a basket with a load of Lego in, and I used to play with it for hours and hours and hours, and I say, back then you would never ever have imagined that there would have been a full movie for Lego. Again, just draw a box shape. When you've got the picture that you're using, whether it's off the DVD, drawing the shapes allows you to get everything in place and in line quite nicely so that you don't go off the page. Here, so we've got quite a light line going in. There's his hair underneath his hard hat, his construction worker's hat. There's the hair on that side going down, a little bit around the back. And then his eyes, see with the Lego characters, they're just two little circles. And the picture I'm using of him running, find out on the internet. If you just Google images of Emmet from the Lego movie, you'll see this coming up quite regularly, of him running with his cheeky little grin. But there, very quickly, I've just got a complete drawing of Emmet down just using shapes. So if I go over this now from top to bottom and we just darken it in a little bit, and we put the harder lines on his construction helmet, you'll actually see Emmet come together very, very quickly. And that's the thing with Lego, because they're made out of little bricks and little blocks, they're great for practicing your drawing, and just enjoy practicing your drawing. So there's the top little ridges of his construction helmet. As that comes round, you'll notice on the images and the pictures that are out there, when you're drawing your lines, make everything fit. So the edge of the helmet goes out further, so there's the edge, and then his hair is obviously going to fit inside the helmet. So just watch those little details as you put it in, but putting the big blocks down first. There's his hair at the back, and his chin, the hero's square jawline, though everyone, including the girls in the Lego movies, have a big square hero jawline, don't they? The goodies, the baddies and everybody else. There's his neck. There's the side of his hair again, down the back. So again, you can see straight away how using shapes, squares, circles, triangles, cylinders, rectangles, is how you can get an image together very, very quickly of things that you like to draw. And I say there's lots of things in the Lego movie, the amount of characters that turn up. You've got Batman with all of his equipment and bits and pieces, and we'll do a Batman drawing from the Lego movie and the other characters. But like I said, here we're drawing Emmet because he is the hero. Let's just shade in a little bit of his hair very, very quickly, and you can colour these in. Again, you can use your pencil crayons, or you can use your paints, felt tip pens. I'm just using a pencil just to whack these in very, very quickly, so that you can see how simple it is to actually draw. Again, you're drawing a curve, put your hand in, you can move the page around if you want to. And when you're doing a curve, use the natural line of your wrist, and that'll allow you to draw a curve much, much easier. So there's his nice big smile. Because if you're trying to draw a curve against the flow of your wrist, you've got to use the span of your arm, and you might find it a little bit difficult. So there you've got Emmet's head in very, very quickly. Let's just block in really quickly his construction hat. Again, all his body's down here very, very lightly. You can use your finger, or you can use a bit of kitchen roll, smudge all of that really quickly. And for a little bit of form around Emmet, shadow underneath his neck, you can use the kitchen roll, the grey that's already on there. There's going to be a bit of shadow underneath his helmet. It doesn't matter if you go over, remember, because you can use an eraser to remove the lines and the highlight line. Just really squodge that on, and that'll show up, because Emmet is that wonderful kind of yellow colour. Again, darken underneath the construction helmet to make that stand out. Just put a little bit of extra darker shading. Again, I'm doing all of this with a 2B pencil, but there are other grades. You could just use a normal HB, or you could use 4B or an 8B if you want slightly darker. Tones as well to go down faster. Again, just use the sides of the pencil, and that'll put different tones down, different shapes, to put the shadows down. You can see straight away Emmet's coming together quite nicely. So here we'll go and put his body in, line right the way across the top over his shoulder. Go down to the corner where his waistband will be, where his belt. Draw another line. And you can see these are just rectangle shapes that go all the way around. Now his belt, his buckle, kind of goes from just off the centre. So we'll draw in now. Oh, that's a little bit too low. Again, don't think about making mistakes when you're doing drawing and you're learning, having fun. His shirt doesn't come down that far. So within his body, his shirt probably comes down just above the halfway line. So draw your line up in the middle. There you've got your point, and then put another point on, and then connect them. It's just like doing dot to dot, connect the drawings. And that way you won't have too many problems. Just draw a line down for his shirt, there's his collar, there's the other line for the other side, there's his collar. Now again, shading his shirt is blue, and he has a little white kind of t-shirt line underneath. So again, just doing black and white with a pencil, you'll get to learn and use shading and tones and different grades, and you can use different grades of pencil. Or just do a straight outline. You could even use a felt tip pen, you know, use a Sharpie or anything like that, and then colour it in using felt tips, so you've actually got your colours. But again, I'm just showing you guys how to use pencil. That line's wrong, I wasn't looking then at all. So here I'll just get rid of those lines. The first line that went to the corner there is probably the better line because it matches up with his helmet at the top. So I need to draw that down and extend that box there. So again, when you're drawing and you're practicing, just enjoy. Don't think you've got to get something really, really perfect all the time. But just enjoy the process of drawing and making marks. So here now we want to get Emmet's fluorescent bands on the front of his jacket, as well as the little bits and pieces. His belt is a little bit over, his belt buckle, it's not dead centre. So they're just getting the detail on the front. So again, just a little rectangle, and then he's got black bits next to it. So this would be the belt loop on your trousers, with your belt going through your belt loops. Another little square, and then one little one at the end. And so doing the squares and allowing it to reverse out, you're creating his belt and his belt loops. And then the little logo in the centre, you can draw a full circle if you want. So this is down here, and then draw the detail line on after. Just zoom in so you can see that much better. Here we are, if we let the focus catch up, there we go guys, the autofocus. You can draw a little circle in that rectangle and then draw on the darker lines for the little shapes that show his belt. I'll just move that over a little bit, and then you can draw on the rectangle. Again, remember, you can see how from the centre line his buckle is a little bit further over. So here now we'll draw on the next sections, and you can use reference points. These little, like where his belt loops are, will help you in a moment to then put the fluorescent stripes on his pockets and his pen. And it just gives you points to work towards when you're putting your details on, and it helps you to build everything up. So there's one rectangle, there's the second rectangle across showing his belt, here's the third one, which is the little one going around the corner. And it's kind of great how these characters, he's got nothing down this side, it's just all on the front. And that's the thing with Lego, it's all about your imagination, and that's something that's wonderful with drawing. I can remember with my box of Lego, and then also when I, about 7, 8, 9 years old, started drawing, a piece of paper and a pencil and a pen or some crayons, and your imagination, you can do whatever you want and you can just have fun. I can remember drawing Star Wars, and I will be doing some how to draw Star Wars films in the future as well, characters out of there, the spaceships and some of the characters and maybe the creatures. So again, subscribe to my channel and you'll see all of these little things that come out. But when I was a young child, this was exactly how I used to develop my drawing technique. So here now we've got the front of Emmet's jacket with his high vis on, and we'll just put the couple little marks on. Draw a straight line down, you've got a line that comes all the way across, and then you can crop that off at the end you've got another straight line that makes that, and then you've got another horizontal line that comes across and goes roughly through where his shirt is. So there you've got those long rectangles, long lines that make up the silver reflective bands, and then you've got another kind of rectangle shape that makes his pocket. Same again on this side, and you can just darken that down a little bit. And the thing as well is, if you use pencil and you want to do pen over the top, you can then go over the top of your line with your pen and rub out your pencil and then colour it in, but use pencil to do your construction lines. In the middle of the band, going halfway up, he's got a really big pen. There's a blob that's not got a black line around it, and there's the clip that will hold it onto his pocket. And you can just now darken those lines a little bit, because everything else, this is all orange around the side of the silver reflective band. All of a sudden Emmet's starting to come to life with a little bit more detail. We've just got his arms and his legs to go, and then we'll just do some more expressions. So there you can see how all the detail comes together very, very quickly. Again, just using very simple shapes, triangles, and a circle shape across the top of there, but lots of rectangles, and Emmet's coming together. If we zoom out, you'll see much better now. There's Emmet looking rather groovy. Again, squinting your eyes, you can colour in very, very quickly with your shading, and you can use your finger or a kitchen roll. This is all the orange colour of his overalls, his construction overalls. And you can use cross hatching if you want it lighter on one side. Just do another set of lines at a slightly different angle on another point. Just move that bit of rubber out of the way. And you can make it look as if it's got a bit of shadow on one side. So here, I say we've just drawn in very, very quickly all of that. Like I say, you can just get a piece of kitchen roll, smudge it together a little bit, and you can smooth out the colour and the tone, the orange all around. Just leave the white paper showing through for his reflective stripes that are on there. His pen needs to be coloured in, so it's got a blue top. And just try and make your tones a little bit different, and that'll make them stand out a little bit. You can increase the shadow underneath his neckline. Just use your finger to smudge that a little bit. Now again, just use a rubber with a hard edge, and you can draw down with the rubber. Just remember, a rubber, an eraser, is a drawing tool as well. So there you've got a highlight on the edge because it's solid plastic and it'll be reflecting. He will just come over and draw his arm very quickly, and he's got his blue shirt. Remember, these are just very simple ellipses, and you've got his big hand. It would be yellow, and you can draw a line where his elbow is. Again, I'll change and I'll use a 4B just because it's a bit softer and you can get a faster, darker, harder line down. You can see the tone is a little bit different, and if you've gone over the lines and you want perfect lines, then remember you can use your finger and smudge it, and it doesn't matter if you go over the lines a little bit, and darken underneath just to give it shape and form. Because if you do go over the lines and you want it perfectly clean, if you find your eraser gets dirty on the corner, just wipe it on your jeans or get a bit of cloth or something, and then you'll clean it off, and then you'll get a clean line when you rub it. You can also rub out the little construction lines in his high vis if you want to get rid of them and have it nice and clean. can also use either your dirty finger or the paper for the yellow. Just smudge that around in his hand, and then you get the yellow tone. He needs a little bit more on his face just to make that stand out, because you've got the white highlight down the side. He needs a highlight across. Again, I'll use a putty rubber here. Remember the putty rubber? You can pull these to a really, really nice shape. These putty rubbers are awesome. I remember when I first had one, they were kind of strange. I thought, oh, is this blue tack? I tried using blue tack as a child, and it doesn't work so well, so do get a putty rubber. But you can knead that to a shape, and you can then put a very quick straight highlight in. Needs a highlight on the ridge of his helmet at the top, down the sides. And you can see how you're starting to get a lot more form develop, and Emmet's really starting to come to life here, because he is the hero. Anyway, my twins are 20 right now. They're not little kids anymore, but we can remember going to the pictures when they were younger, and they love going to watch children's films still. And they've been to see the film at the pictures, and they came out and they were all singing "Everything is Awesome," and they were some of the few people who were actually in the film without any children of their own. And I can remember when me and my wife, before we had children, we went to the cinema to see The Little Mermaid, and we were the only couple in the entire cinema who didn't have children. So I've gone over the line there with smudging, but using an eraser you can clean that up. So you know, you've got my 4B. Again, I'll leave a little bit because there's a highlight on the top of his shoulder. Remember, Emmet is plastic, he is a little Lego man. And oh, there's a bit underneath there. That's what makes it. If you get little bits like you rubbings out, you're erasing out, the little bits get underneath the paper, you'll get a nice chunky little black spot like that one there. But here now, I'm using the side of the pencil to create the shadow underneath. And down his arm, there, you're going to get a cast shadow across his body. So just lightly put that in, and that'll make it stand out a little bit better. Put some shadows underneath his hair. And so now, use my finger to rub in. I've rubbed over where the highlight is, but I need to get his tones kind of matching a little bit better. But if you use the hard eraser, that's kind of quite good. If you use a putty rubber, knead it again, you can get the highlight on the edge and down his arm, just to give a little bit of form. Highlight down the edge of his arm. But then there's a solid one right on the corner, so you might need a harder rubber just to get that right down. And the thing with the putty rubber is you can soften it off, you can just dab it. You can hear it pulling the paper. You just dab it like that. It's great because it gives you softer grades as it's rubbing out, and that's really good fun. Now again, get the 2B pencil, got his hand, just draw the claw around the claw of his. Doesn't really have fingers, do they, the little Lego guys and girls? Just draw the highlight on using the eraser. So now, yeah, you can see we've got the top half. All we've got is the bottom half of Emmet. So you've got the cylinder in. The cylinder construction line goes all the way around. One of the things that I've just noticed is we need to get his leg properly in place. And this is the joy of when you use shapes, you can actually put in the construction lines and correct it very, very simply. So you can see there my construction line was too far over on his belt. So now it needs to come because his leg's going to come round here and come round, and because it's an ellipse, it goes into what would be his right hand side. So you can just erase a little bit out and draw that round, and then bring the line down for his leg. To make his leg a little bit really. And then we can correct where everything is. There's the front of his foot. Draw it back. And underneath you've got another parallelogram. That's the correct term for a rectangle that's not got 90-degree corners, but they're all the same, because those lines are parallel and those lines are parallel, and underneath his foot is going to be darker, but we just need to match up the kind of centre line where his leg moves there, and you can draw over, and he's got a little bit of high vis on the front of his leg, and this is just being great. Yeah, I hope you really do enjoy your drawing, because this is how I started. I started by drawing. The cylinder comes right around, drawing little cartoon characters like this. Things that I saw on the TV or in the cartoon sections in the newspapers. I used to get the Dandy or the Beano, and I used to copy what was there. Here's his little Emmet name badge on the front of his leg, because that's curved around it. Again, you see, you get that curve coming round. Again, use the side of your pencil and you can put all of the orange tone in very, very quickly. Go all the way along. If you want to, you can smudge it in a second. But that's all the same tone. If you smudge that very, very quickly to match the other, you can then darken the tone. Try not to smudge it over your little high vis bit. Use your eraser. You can put a highlight in across the top and just smudge it a little bit with your finger. You can use the putty rubber. As you've seen, this is real time in half an hour. You see how to draw quite a complex little figure using very, very, very simple shapes. Now, he's got a mould line on the construction of his actual plastic going up his leg, which is nice. So just use the rubber to draw a highlight and then put the pencil down against the side of it. Highlight his foot all the way across the top of his toes. Now again, use lines going in a different direction for underneath his foot, because that's where the shadow is, and then do right in there. He's going to have a line going up for the back, and you can just put on another line a bit darker, another one not quite so dark, and there you've got the shadow going under. But he's also got shadow going underneath his belt, because a cylinder will have different tones and reflected lights going around. So there you can see just making the shapes go around to create it, to make it look as if it's a cylinder, because you're making marks with a pencil. You're not actually creating a photograph. You're creating an illusion to convince somebody that they're actually seeing what you want them to see. It's a representation. So again, just quickly back, there's the clip coming up, and we'll get this in and we'll just do some of his face expressions. And I know this has been a bit of a long video, it's over half an hour, but you get to actually see a very nice drawing of the hero Emmet from the Lego movie from start to finish. And we'll just do his expressions very, very quickly. So there we've got the top of his name clipboard. Just divide, in fact we'll zoom in so you can see this. The autofocus catch up, here we go. So divide it up, you've got E-M-M-E-T. So just put 5 kind of squares on, and I'll sharpen the pencil a little bit because it's getting quite blunt. So I can just do the detail. Oh, the technology just failed me. For some reason the camera stopped, and there seems to be a bit of a limit of 27 minutes it will record in one go, and that's interesting to know and interesting to work through. Anyway, we've just done Emmet's little badge. Now all we're going to do very quickly is, because he's running, just give him a little bit of shadow, because that makes him look as if he's actually running over something. You can smudge it with your finger if you want. Now, very quickly, we will just do some expressions of Emmet. Just the way that he looks, you know, there's going to be lots and lots of different expressions through the film, and they're really, really simple. So if we just draw, again, you've got the square shape, there's his neck, and his hairline. And this is the thing with the Lego characters, they're very, very simple, but using the technique of shapes and the positioning of those shapes will create different moods. And just doing little things can change the way and the emotions. Like say here we've got him smiling, looking kind of cool because he's the hero, but then you can just have, you know, a very happy big circles for his eyes, and he's going to have a big smile because he's very, very happy. So just do like a big letter D, but they just round the corners off. You draw your line in, and you just draw another line underneath for his teeth, a little, what would be red for his tongue, and that'd have to be black all the way inside there. So you can see just creating the different kind of characters. There's another rectangle shape, there's his neck, and if you reverse that instead, if you do your D the other way round, you can put a little bit of a lip inside the top. He can be a little bit worried, you can show his bottom teeth and his top teeth and the tongue in the middle. And rather than doing full eyes, you can do like little D shapes. So you've got your circle nearly going all the way around. Like, no, problems, this is not awesome. So there you can see another way of doing things. And you can put his eyebrows in a different position. And this is the thing, just look at the stills in the film and you will be able to see lots and lots of different expressions that Emmet has. So again, just a really big smile. You think about this with the shapes and the position of the shapes. Just his row of top teeth and his tongue at the bottom. And you can see all these are just very, 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 very simple shapes. So there his top teeth is just like a little rectangle inside the D, and you've got the top of a circle to create his tongue. But then, you know, imagine he's laughing really, really hard. He's squinting his eyes together and his eyebrows. Are at the top, pointing down. So these are just a lot of the different expressions that you can see within the movie. You know, from his worried through to his happy, you know, to even a kind of quizzically worried one. So here, I'll do this last one very, very quickly. There's the shape again. Just put the shape of his hair in if you want, which is quite good. But just like he's got the nice smile on this side, you can then accentuate that. You can do a triangle You think of a piece of cheese, the edge of a triangle, but just curve it a little bit. Put it like the laughter line, the crease in the side of your cheek. Put a little bit underneath for your bottom lip. You can put the middle in for the centre of his teeth. You can slant his eyebrows down, and then all of a sudden you've got lots and lots of different expressions. So play around with it, you know, the angle of eyebrows can change the way, whether you've got one eyebrow up, one eyebrow down. You know, you can create just different moods with the positions of the eyebrows, how you do it. Again, just enjoy your drawing using the shapes and have fun. And as you say, when you get the DVD and you're enjoying the film, remember how creating an image, you can create just different moods with the position and the shape of the mouth and the eyebrows. And just look at the film and you'll see that, and just keep a little sketchbook and make these little notes of the different character traits in Emmet's face. And again, here from start to finish, you've seen how using very simple shapes of squares, circles, triangles, rectangles, and all of those put together, you can then put down a really good drawing of Emmet. Now we'll do some other Lego movie characters, but thank you for watching this one of Emmet. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel for more how-to updates. Thanks very much. Ta-da.